Hi everyone. Just wait for people to join. Good morning. We're just waiting for others to join. Something happened to the earlier link, so I'll have to send it out again. Oops. Oh, good morning. So I'll give it like an extra 2 minutes and maybe 5 minutes before I start. Dun, 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 dun. There'll be some noise because I have birds in this tree beside the house. So if you hear noises, let me know. But that's fine. It's nature. What is going on here? Okay, one more minute and we will start. How is everyone doing today? What time zone is everyone? I've seen a few people from Nigeria. Which other country is here? And can you hear me well? Let me know. Okay, thank you. Okay, I think I'm just going to start. So, what I'm here doing this live for is really to answer the frequently asked questions that I've gotten on the channel and also to address some common topics. So, basically, looking at all the questions I've been and from the comments I've gotten, most of the questions are either about mostly around how to come to New Zealand, but there are a few around what should you should do after you get your visa, and there are also some around what you should do when you arrive in New Zealand. But I think the most common one is what you should do to enable you to come to New Zealand. So coming to New Zealand type of questions like what kind of visas do we have, how to apply, and all those things. So most of them I've actually talked about on the channel. So I think the first thing I'm going to try to do is to kind of share about the channel and where you can get resources, because I've grouped them into playlists. And this playlist is to enable you to help you to find videos quite quickly instead of having to go through the 500 videos that are on my channel. So I will try and see if I can share my screen. Oh, I can't share screen. Right. Okay. So I will go to my channel first of all, and then we would go through the playlist. All right, where is that window? YouTube, YouTube. So I'm going to share screen. Share screen. And I'll be sharing a window. Nope, a Chrome tab. Technology. Hold on. Okay, so if you go onto YouTube and search for the Sassy Engineer on YouTube, you're going to come to this page. So you're going to come to this page when you go on to the Sassy Engineer on YouTube. And this is my page. Then you go to playlist. We are currently live now, as you can see. But what you're going to do is to go to the playlist. In the playlist, I have different public playlist. So if you see here, every video you find, if you go to this playlist and say view full playlist, you find all the videos that you need to know about coming to New Zealand. They are videos and they are short. So you look for the videos and you will see everything. So they have videos on there like types of work visa, but types of student visa, the different changes working as a full-time student. So you go through all those videos and watch them, especially the early ones, to see. That is one way. So you see here types of New Zealand visas, which talks about visa generally, types of work visas. That's one way. You go back to the channel again, and then you will see another playlist, which is all about settling in New Zealand. Come on now. So this one is all about settling in New Zealand. This one is settling in New Zealand. And then you have videos that talk about another playlist that would give you everything you need to know about bringing your family to New Zealand. So this is the playlist here. If you click on it, you will see what New Zealand defines as family. You know, if you are if you're on a work visa, how you can bring your partner of a work visa. If you have children, the types of dependent children visas you can have, and everything about student visa is on here. So that's how you can navigate my channel. Another thing that you can do is, if you're looking for a type of video but you don't want to go through the hassle of a playlist, you can come to this search bar. This is for desktop anyway, and then type whatever you want. For instance, the popular NZETA that everybody keeps asking about. You type on there, you see all the videos that I've talked about on NZETA. You have a look, and yeah, that's how to navigate that. So that's one thing. But another thing I wanted to also talk about is coming to New Zealand. So there are different types of visas that can bring you to New Zealand. You have visas that allow you to work, visas that allow you to study, visas that you can go on if you have someone already in New Zealand, like you have a partner. So there are visas that can allow you to join your family. And your partner, if your partner is on a different visa, there are visas for that. If your partner is a New Zealand citizen or resident, there are visas for that as well. So those are the types of visas. The common ones for migrants are visas that allow you to come and study and visas that allow you to come and work. Those are the common ones for migrants because those ones are pretty straightforward. Well, every other one is straightforward, but they require more from you. For instance, if you want to come as a business owner, for you need money, right? So those entrepreneurial visas, you have, for instance, active investor plus. That one requires you to have 5 million New Zealand dollars. 5 million New Zealand dollars. If you had that money, you probably would not be traveling or not. So there are people that have that money and want to come to New Zealand as a way of investing in the country and expanding their business. So there's stuff like that. There's also visas that you can apply for if you have certain skills. So like all those talent visas. But the main one are student visas and work visas. Now, all of them have different requirements. There are different types of student visas, there are different types of work visas. But the popular one is fee-paying student visa for students, and work visa is accredited employer work visa. But the main question you're probably asking is, okay, I want to come via work visa. You already know from my channel that New Zealand doesn't allow, well, wants only accredited employer to be able to employ migrants. So how are you going to find this accredited employer in the first place? Don't worry, I'm going to show you that one too. So what you do is you have to go to Immigration New Zealand website. Just type immigration.gov or type Immigration New Zealand. I usually type INZ on my search bar and I'll go to Immigration New Zealand website. Again, let me share my screen. So when you go to Immigration New Zealand website, you'll see New Zealand visas. You click here and you can explore the different types of visas that you have in New Zealand by simply answering this question. I would like to explore and select visas to, you want to visit, you want to work, you want to study, you want to join or bring family, you want to start a business. Live permanently is about all the types of resident visas that they have. So you just put there and they ask you, do you have a job offer? You say you do not have. What passport are you traveling on? If I put in Nigeria, let's see what will happen. How old are you? I will say 40. And then it will give you options. So these are the options that you can apply for, but all of them have their requirements, and they've changed all of them to require you to have work. So I don't know why they say I don't have a job offer. If you click that you have a job offer and you search it, so these are the types of work visas that you can count on. See the one I talked about, talent, global impact, permanent residence. Some of them can give you residency straight up. Now, if you say you want to study, but that's not what we are here for anyway. We are here to check for accredited employer. So you can do this by going on Google and saying, check if an employer is accredited in New Zealand. Or you go to Immigration New Zealand website like I am now and put the check if an employer is accredited. And then it gives you this result, which is what you're going to click. You see, check if an employer is accredited. It's very simple. So if you put this on Google, this is a page that'll come out. And if you click it to bring you directly here. So what visas that require you to work for an accredited employer, they list all of them here. This is a popular one. So if any agent tells you, I'm going to give you a work visa, ask them what type of work visa, because New Zealand has unique names for all their work visas. See, it didn't just say NZ work visa. It says accredited employer work visa, K workforce work to residence visa, partner of a worker work visa. So you see that the names are very specific. Something that you should take note, because many fake agents are scamming people out of their money. Now, this is not why we are here. We want to use this tool to find an employer. I don't know their NZ business name. I don't even know their name. I just, I want to know what employer we have. So I could just put a random name. Maybe if I am into baking, for instance, I could put bake and we'll try our best. So you see, there are some of the accredited employers that can employ you in New Zealand, and you see their details. So you have their New Zealand business name and the expiry of their accreditation. So after this 12 September 2026, this employer will need to renew with New Zealand. Otherwise, this employer may not be able to employ new migrant workers. So engineering, for instance, I put the engineering, and you see the different types of engineers. So this is one way to do it. If you see a job offer on the internet and you want to apply for it, come to this place and put that employer's name, and it will tell you if that employer is accredited or not. If that employer's name doesn't show here, that employer's accreditation has expired. So that's now we come back here. And another thing I want to talk about is finding these green list roles. So green list is a list that New Zealand has of it's short of calling um skill shortage list, kind of. Some countries call it like that. So it's a list that they have different roles that are wanted urgently in New Zealand. If you can employ someone in that role, you may get your work visa quite quickly. So they divided that green list into two, tier one and tier two. Tier one people can get their residency directly from outside the country. They don't even need to be in New Zealand. That's the only thing that delays some people is that the cost of that resident visa for one person is around 6,000. Let me just say round figure 6,500 New Zealand dollars. That is per person. If you now want to apply for your whole family, it's a lot. So what happens in that case is that people apply for accredited employer work visa, come to New Zealand, do the job for a while, make money, then apply for the straight to resident visa. But if it is just you who wants to move, you can easily put in 6,000 something dollars, which is around 6+ million naira. So that's the tier one roles on the green list. You now have the tier two roles. These are roles that are still in high demand. They are wanted in New Zealand. But in that, if your role is on that list, what is going to happen is you will have to get a job, first of all, but then you will come to New Zealand and will have to work for 2 years before you now qualify to apply for residency. So that's the difference between tier one and tier two roles. Now, how do you find these roles in the first place? I'm just going to quickly go online. You just go to your Google and search for Green List NZ. That's how I search for mine. Green List NZ. And Google should give you the list, the website. So I'll share my screen again. Green List roles. Share. Now, Google, when you search on Green List New Zealand or Green List NZ, you click the green list roles, you come to this page where you see green list roles, where you can search the green list for roles in demand in New Zealand. If your role is listed and you have the qualification, registration, or experience required, you may be able to get residence immediately or after 2 years of working, just like I said. So that's just I'm going to respond to you first. Let me just share this green list role. I stopped sharing screen. 1 second. Share. Right. So you come here and you put the industry. Let's say you are into construction. You don't even need to put all this one. You search. You see that there are 1 to 8 roles for construction. Some of them are in tier 1. Some of them are tier 2. So if you get a job as a building project manager, you can actually apply for straight to residence visa from your home country and come to New Zealand straight up as a resident. Now, you will need to actually meet all these requirements. You need to be paid at least the median wage and this. And these are the requirements that you need to qualify. So you should have a bachelor at this level and all that. If you are, let's look for a tier 2 role, a crane operator, which there was a time in New Zealand that they were looking for crane operators. There was also a time in New Zealand that scaffolders were wanted urgently. So again, with this one, if you get a job as a crane operator, you can come to New Zealand and work for 2 years before you qualify to become a resident. 2 years goes by pretty fast, honestly. So it won't even matter. Before you know it, 2 years is up and you're ready. So that's how you can search for green list role. You can either put the area, the field that you want, factory process worker, search, We have one rule, halal slaughterer. So if you are a halal slaughterer, you are in demand. Or you search for the specific role. I'll just put industry. You search for the specific role. You can clear this and search for a specific role that you want. Let's look for a common one that I have been asked a lot, which is cannot find. Anyway, this one, search for it, and you'll see this is a tier one, so it's eligible for straight to resident. But again, you need to meet this requirement. So that's how you find green list roles in New Zealand. All right. Now let's look at the question. Please, how easy is it to get menial job as a student? You guys call this thing that you call menial job is a job that somebody is doing fasting and prayer for, honestly. Let me just tell you. So I don't know what you mean by menial jobs. I think you need to, Tari, this is you I'm speaking to. You need to clarify what kind of jobs you mean by menial jobs. Cleaner is not a menial, it's not a menial job in New Zealand. Some cleaners are more well to do than some people who work the regular non-menial jobs. So if you're talking about those kind of role jobs, I don't see them as menial jobs in New Zealand because they can put food on many people's tables. If you see some cleaners in this New Zealand, even you who is working in 9 to 5, you'll be questioning your existence. So yeah, but as a student, the kind of jobs that you get will depend on what type of student you are. If you are a master's, undergraduate, or a PhD student, because as you would know from watching my videos, PhD students can work full time, but masters and undergraduates, depending on the kind of masters you do anyway, are limited to 20 hours per week during school term. They can only work full time during scheduled holidays, so like Christmas break, for instance. So if you are that kind of student, what I've really seen here is that most of them get jobs as sales people. So they work in malls, work in restaurants, they do traffic management. But again, you are kind of competing with so many people. The best thing I always advise people is talk to your classmates. Some of them know people that know people, they have links. Don't discriminate, because some people come here and be like, I don't want to talk to this person because he's from this country, but that person may be your link to your job. So talk to your classmates, especially the Indians and the Chinese one, because we have a lot of Indians and Chinese businesses here. So some of them would know how to direct you. So talk to your classmates. But again, um how easy it is to get jobs depends on how much you want to get the job, where you are looking, what you are doing to get the job, the effort you're putting in to get this job. Please, I have yet to get a response on my visitor visa since February 2025. Oh, that's this year. It's not even up to, not up to 1 month now. You should be calming down sometimes. Any suggestions on what I should do? And is there any chance of me getting it after it has taken this long to get a response? I don't think it's long. You applied February 3rd, 2025. Today is February 28th, 2025. It is just 3 weeks. So I don't think it is long. If at all you said 8 months, then that's when I'll be like, there's a problem there. Now, what I'm going to ask you is, did you apply for this visa yourself? What type of visa did you apply for? Because you're saying visitor visa. But from my experience with people that have asked me this question, it turns out that it's always NZETA, but then the agent will now make it look like it's visitor visa. So I'm just going to assume that you are actually talking about the normal visitor visa. I don't think 3 weeks is too long. So this thing is a case by case basis. So just be patient, they will get to you. Now, I have a gap of 9 years since my bachelor's. What are my chances for master's? 9 years. What were you doing in the 9 years? Is a question. Were you just, I don't know, what were you doing in that 9 years? So your chances for masters, I don't think it will really be a problem, but check with the university that you are applying to. They have requirements. and you may need to explain the 9 year gap, you may not, but just check. Masters, by if it's just the ones you are going to be attending lectures, I don't think there's going to be a problem. The only problem that may come in is if how you are going to cope, because 9 year gap is a long time. So I'm assuming that you probably are in your late 20s or early 30s. So how are you going to explain that? I mean, how are you going to cope in school? But I don't think the gap is really going to be a problem for you. But again, check the university. There are requirements to this. One of the requirements is your degree. What did you score in your bachelor's degree? Right? Yeah. So check the university for their requirement. And if they need you to explain the gap, I'm sure they'll get back to you on that. Okay. Yeah, I don't think Timizi. So I think you should not panic because it's 3 weeks, and according to New Zealand immigration website, let me just quickly check what the average processing time is. If you go online, you can find that too. So go to immigration New Zealand website and check. Then if you follow their page, they occasionally post average processing time for visitor visa. Matter of fact, just go to visitor visa website. Immigration New Zealand and search for visitor visa NZ, and it's there. So 80% within 4 weeks. You are just 3 weeks. So be patient. They're going to get back to you. I am an electrical engineer with HND and I have experience. Please, how can I value my credentials in New Zealand? Okay, I think what you're trying to say here is, how do you know how your qualifications compare to New Zealand qualification? And that one is done by what we call NZQA. So you have to go to NZQA and they can do the international qualification assessment for you. Yeah. I think I can reply to that. No. Check NZQA. Yeah. So I would not say you should just hurriedly go and do an IQA unless you totally and absolutely need it. So if you have an HND, it's going most probably going to be either level 7 or level 8. But I would not say you should do it yet until you really need it. Except you have the lose money, then you can go ahead and do it. Yeah. Okay. So, well, there are no more questions for now. So I've just talked about the types of visas. One other thing that people have really asked me is around, how can they apply for immigration New Zealand visas when they don't have embassy or they don't have visa application center. So I did a video on that. But what immigration has done is, and is very, very good that they've done it, because I remember when I applied for my visa, it wasn't easy. They have now made most of their visas to be online. And where their visa is not online, it just means that that country has their own. It's only very specific visas that need to be submitted on paper. But almost all the student visa, the work visas can be applied for online. But you need to create a real me account. So that creating a real me account is often people's problem. So I think I can do a quick demo on how you can do that here. Let us whip our Immigration New Zealand website. All right. I'm going to share my screen again. Share screen. Okay. So this is the website, Immigration New Zealand, and you want to apply for a visa. So you click here. This is what I do anyway. I go here, login. Or maybe I should go to find a visa, an actual visa. Fee paying, I say fee studying. I'll just search student visa. Maybe I should do accredited employer work visa. We talk about students a lot. Employer work visa. Right. So that's it. I you know. Okay. So you say check that you are ready, blah blah blah. Apply online. You see it here. Log in using RealMe. So I'm going to go and log in. Either you do that or you go. So when you click login using RealMe, it opens in a new tab. Or you come here and click login. It will ask you what are you going to apply for. I'll say accredited employer work visa. To say I don't need any of this. So I want to log in. Bam, I do that. It's still open in a different tab. To share that tab again. RealMe login. Opens in this tab. Oh, and what you're going to do now is to create a RealMe account if you don't have it. You have to put your email. So you definitely need an email. Create a username. Put all these things. And when you continue, it's just going to take it all the way. It may ask you to verify your account by email by sending you a verification link you verify. But that's how you create a RealMe account. To send code, to your email to be sure that your email is genuine. So that's it. To set up an account, you will need to confirm your email address. Enter the email, click send code, check your email to retrieve the code, enter the confirmation code in the field, and then click confirm. And once it's verified, you create a username, create a password, and then you can go back. Go back now. You can go back and log in. Anyway. So that's how you create a RealMe account. Now, questions. Okay. Hello, good morning, ma. I watch your video on primary school teacher in New Zealand. Yep. Please, can I apply outside New Zealand or only when I'm there? And please, can you give me direct contact? You can. So what I always advise, maybe I don't know if I use big words or something because a lot of people don't really understand. I don't comprehend what I'm saying. So you can apply for this visa. You can apply outside. It's actually done for. It's a visa, right? Straight to resident visa is for people who are both outside and inside. So you don't need to be in New Zealand to apply. So to answer your question simply, yes, you can apply from outside New Zealand. And I think I stated that clearly in the video. That's why people should be watching it to the end. You can apply for it outside New Zealand. And if you follow the steps that I have highlighted in those videos, you will be able to succeed. It takes time. It takes time, to be honest. I know someone that actually went through that route and it took that person a long time, but you will get there. The main issue is usually around getting the job. So go back and watch that video again. I have highlighted the steps in detail. Please watch it, note it down because it's there in the video. But just for the sake of every other person, let me break it down. You first of all need to have a bachelor degree that is just as equivalent to New Zealand bachelor degree. So you may need to do IQA, which somebody asked me about earlier. And then you register with Teacher Council. And then you find a job. Thereafter, you apply for a visa and come to New Zealand. Please go back and watch that video. You don't need a direct contact. You can do this thing yourself. All you just need is patience and the ability to research. Don't joke with research. A lot of people leave, I will say, their destiny in agents' hand, and these agents will milk you. If you want to use an agent for this thing, you're going to pay a lot of money. Why don't you save yourself money and do it yourself until when it hooks you, which I don't think it should. So what you need in this case is patience and zeal to research. You need to research. And the Teachers Council have made it easy that they put all the jobs in one place, which is called Education Gazette. So while you're, doing your things on the side, getting your qualifications assessed, getting your registration, getting ready to register with Teaching Council of New Zealand, you can be looking through Education Gazette to see the jobs available and the qualification or skills that are required for those jobs, so that if you don't have them, you can start getting those experience on the side while you are trying to get registered. So please go back and watch that video. Thank you. I plan coming on PhD. If I get a PhD, are the part-time jobs in New Zealand that people can easily access? They are, yes, there are jobs in New Zealand. And if you get a PhD, you can work full-time, but everything will now depend on you having to manage your time, because PhD requires 40 hours. Your full-time job will require 40 hours. So you will need to be very good with time management. Otherwise, you may flop on both sides, and you don't want to do that, because PhD in New Zealand, your first year is provisional year, which means that there is a high chance of you not continuing if you don't fulfill all your PhD goals. And fulfilling your PhD goals is not just left on your shoulders. It is something that you and your supervisor have to agree that, these 5 goals that I was supposed to fulfill, I have fulfilled it. If you fulfill it and you feel satisfied, your supervisor may not feel satisfied. So that's why you need to work closely with your supervisor. He or she is your point of contact in anything in this New Zealand. So yes, you can find jobs for PhD. You can even find full-time jobs. There are a lot of people that have found full-time jobs, and because of that became residents either before or just after they finished their PhD. All right. Um, I'm 38 years old. I want to apply for masters and relocate together with my family. Could this be risky size Australia put? Eh? What are you talking about? Oh, since could this be risky since Australia put a cap on 35? Could New Zealand also be doing the same? I don't know what you're talking about. Can you explain that cap thing again? 35 on as what? On what? So, Eunice, if you can clarify your question again. Now, please, how easy is it to get job as an electrician outside New Zealand? Do I need a license before I can secure a job? So you saw what I don't know if you met me when I was checking for green list roles. If you go onto the green list roles, you will see the requirements for that electrician. And most likely you will need a license, because most of the electricians here have to write exams to get some kind of license. But what I'll say is go on to the green list rules, check the requirements, and you will see what is required of you to practice in New Zealand. So I don't have access to all the roles here, okay? So I will not have answers at the top of my head, but I can recommend to where you can find the answers to your question. So for you who is thinking of coming as an electrician, search green list roles, type in electrician, and look at the requirements for an electrician. So it will be under green list requirements for that role. And if it says that you will need a license, then you need a license. Okay. I will continue with my discussion. Something else that people usually think about is proof of funds, because all the visas need to see that you have money. The government does not want anybody to come and be a burden to them, because the government is using taxpayers' money to take care of the people who are already depending on them. They don't want you to come from your country and add to their pain. So that's why they always say you should have enough money to take care of yourself. That's one way of looking at it. Another way of looking at it is that it's even good for you as a person. You don't want to come and be stranded and, live stressed. So they want you to have some money. So proof of fund is a lot of people's problem. No, sorry, not a lot of people's problem. Proof of fund bothers people a lot, and they are worried, would they be able to show this money? So thankfully, you don't need to have all the money. you can have somebody do the financial guarantee for you. Or if you have a New Zealand resident or New Zealand citizen in New Zealand, they can be your sponsor. But if the person is not a Kiwi, basically the person is not a New Zealand resident or a New Zealand citizen, then what they'll do is financial guarantee for you. And again, it depends on what kind of visa you're applying for. So yeah, that is possible too. For student visa, you need to show $20,000 per year, and they need to be convinced that you have access to that money. This money does not have to be your money. Again, your sponsor or your financial guarantor can be the one to have this money in the account. There will be some documents you need to provide to show relationship between this person and that you have access to that money. For visitor visa, you need to have $1,000 per month or $400 per month if you have a prepaid accommodation. While for work visa, depending on the type of work visa, you may need to show proof of funds. But most work visa don't require you to show proof of funds because you are coming to work, right? So you already have salary, you already have income that you're going to come and make. So you don't necessarily need to show proof of funds. But some of the work visas that may require you to show proof of funds are those partner of what kind of work visas. So that's one. Um, can you recommend university for PhD that I can easily get a supervisor? I wish. And also my CGPA is 3.5 for my master's degree and 2.6 for my BSc. Will this be able to get the admission into the school? Namani, unfortunately, I don't do admissions, so I cannot give you that response. Your university will be the best place to consult. There are 8 universities in New Zealand and many institutes of technologies or polytechnics. So you don't necessarily have to do university if it's too expensive for you. You can do polytechnics, Institute of Technologies, like Unitech, Wintech, MIT, UCO, IPU, all those ones. So they are relatively cheaper, but they're still not cheap compared to some places. So can you easily get so getting a PhD supervisor, can you get it easily? It's not by the university. Getting a PhD supervisor is not dependent on the university. It is dependent on your field of study and the supervisor gongon. Okay. So what I always tell people is go look at the university that you're interested in your field of study. You're a PhD student, you're coming to do research. So you should learn to do research. First step of proving that you can do research is actually going online to do these findings. That is the first step of proving that you can actually do research. If you cannot find things like this, then your research capabilities is questionable. So that is what most people will see. They want to see that you can actually go online and search and find them. That's step one. So you can use the university website to search for the supervisors, then go on LinkedIn and look for them, go on ResearchGate and look for their work. You want to understand their area of their field of interest, because there's no point of going to a supervisor who is interested in, let me say, nanotechnology, and then taking quantum physics or art to that supervisor. It doesn't align. So you have to know what your supervisor is interested in. Because when you pitch your proposal within his field or her field, response rate is faster. So that's what you need to know. So you could have a supervisor who is interested in non-thermal processing. His current work may not be in the particular non-thermal processing that you are pitching to them, but you are pitching a non-thermal idea, so they may respond to you. So that's one. Look for their field of interest and then send them an email. The likelihood of them responding is 50-50. They may respond, they may not respond. So some supervisors have made it easy that they advertise their current role that they are looking for PhD students. So that one is very easy. You just see that they have so and so number of research projects that they want students in, So now it's up to you to see if it's something that you're interested in. If it's something that you're interested in, then get in touch with them. LinkedIn is a very good place to find supervisors. ResearchGate is there for you to see the work that they have done and know how to tailor your research, your proposal, and your questions. But you have to be proactive to reach out to these supervisors. So getting a supervisor easily is not dependent on the university, 100%. So it's dependent on their availability, the kind of funding they have. Okay. Now, please, can you recommend any affordable city for? Let me just tell you one thing. There is no city that is cheap in New Zealand. So get that one out of your head. Even the city I am used to be cheap, but it's not cheap anymore. New Zealand is amongst one of the most expensive countries to live in because cost of living is quite high. And the main cost component of the cost of living that makes it quite high is accommodation. And then you have food. But what I've noticed is that most migrants are moving to Hamilton, and that's because they have jobs in Hamilton. It's not because it's cheap. So, just like you have in Nigeria, where everybody wants to go to Lagos, in New Zealand, everybody wants to go to Auckland because that's like the Lagos of New Zealand. That's more where you have That's where you have the main airport, the major airport. I won't say the main that migrants come into Auckland, and that's where you also have most of the businesses, at least their headquarters. So, as a new migrant, if you land in Auckland, you're going to have the best of both worlds. It's going to be expensive, and it's also going to be a lot of opportunities. But Auckland is just one of them. You can go to Christchurch. Christchurch is another one. Christchurch's advantage is that it has international airport, so you can also fly out and fly in directly. You don't need to go to Auckland to go to where you want to go, depending on the airline you're using, though. Another one is some people go to Dunedin. Dunedin has the schools there. University of Otago is a very good school, especially if you're into food processing and biotech. Is a very good school for that. So you have people there, but Dunedin is a small city compared to Christchurch and Auckland. Hamilton, Waikato in general is quite close to Auckland because it's 1 hour drive, depending on where you are, 1.5 hours drive, depending on where you are. But you have to land in Auckland first before going to Hamilton. So Waikato schools at University of Waikato, Abby, yeah, is cheaper than Auckland. But like I said, everything depends on your program of study. So there are some schools that the program of study fees is higher than Auckland, and then there are some that Auckland University is higher than. So everything is 50-50. Yeah. Okay. We have 12 minutes left in this live. It's been interesting so far, and thanks for sending your questions. They're really nice. Now, bringing family, I talked about that. How easy is it to get residency in New Zealand? In my opinion, getting residency is residency and then citizenship depends on the pathway that you use to come to New Zealand. But everything is very clear, and this is why I like Immigration New Zealand. This is one advantage of them. They are very anything you want to find out, you can find it on their website. The only issue is that some of them are not kept in one place. Like if you go to visitor visa, you find everything. You need to click the link that will take you to a different, very secretive about certain things. Every basic detail that you need is on there. I don't know what you really want this to see. Which one do you want? Do you want to study? Do you want to get a job? Do you want to come to visit? Because if you cannot have a clear path, even the immigration advice officer would tell. Number one key thing for New Zealand is to show that you are a genuine visitor or you have genuine intentions. And they can tell from the kind of documents that you package. So anyway, let me just answer your question. It's right now is a very hard time in New Zealand. I think in the rest of the world. So jobs are in demand. Everybody's looking for a job. And I would not say it's very easy, but you can. You can get jobs. But seasonal jobs are usually the people that really get it quicker are those from the Pacific. So like the Papua New Guinea guys, Vanuatu's, you know, and those from on working holiday visa. So working holiday visa basically means that you are a visitor to New Zealand. So it's more like a visitor visa that allows you to work in New Zealand. Those guys get the jobs easily because they already have an arrangement with New Zealand government to get these jobs. However, if you want to get some jobs quicker, there are some agencies that can help to find all these jobs that just need people for 3 weeks, 2 weeks, 4 weeks, 5 weeks, those sharp, 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 sharp jobs. And one of them is straight staff. Straight staff, just like the name. If you see their logo too, you will know that this is blue collar jobs. Yes, that's the word that is found. So most of those hands-off jobs, for instance, the seasonal job that you're talking about. But right now we are running out of season. So most of those seasonal jobs will be ending soon because summer is ending. The best time to get seasonal jobs is just before summer. So once it's autumn like this, they will start advertising. Anything from now, it slows down. You will still find a job, but it slows down. So that's the best time to get seasonal jobs. If you start looking for seasonal jobs during autumn and winter, it's very limited because most of the things are actually, they're still working, but not in at high production rates like during summer. So you may struggle during that period, but you'll find a lot during summer. Trade staff is one place to check. But to get some of these jobs, there's not a lot of cash jobs like you're thinking. You will need to have IRD. And to get IRD, you need to have an address and a bank account. So you need to open a bank account. You need to have a permanent address where they can send. Oh, actually, it's to get a bank account, you need a permanent address. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mix it up. Anyway, is it true that rents are falling? Rents are not falling, no. Rents are not falling. Rents are not falling. And the reason why rents are not falling is because most house owners are still, what is falling right now is what we call the OCR, which is a rate that the reserve banks give, which now on loans, interest rates that reserve banks give money to bank, and then bank will now add their own profit on top and give to individuals. So is that OCR rate that is falling? But does it mean that it will affect rent soon? Rent? No. I think it may affect rent in the next 2-3 years because the damage has already been done. As at 2 years ago, interest rates on houses was 8%. Or well, approximately 8%. So imagine a landlord that was just coming off their fixed term deposit, their fixed interest rate from let's say 3-4% to 7. Is now paying mortgage interest on mortgage 7%. It's 7.5. And you now want that landlord to reduce the rent this year. So no, rents are not falling. Rents are not falling at all. A matter of fact, rents are increasing. There are some houses that I saw recently, and you will not imagine that that house is going for that price. We pay rent here per week, by the way. So imagine paying $600 per week. Rents are not falling, my dear. As regards the demand for secondary school teachers, does school employers hire teachers from Africa? The news says that they want teachers. So, yes, they hire. Your question is very simple. They do hire. If you saw the videos that I made, they hire. And the government is also giving $10,000 grants, not to everybody. The eligibility criteria that you must meet to qualify. But there is a chance that if you qualify, you may get $10,000 relocation grant. Even primary school teachers are wanted now. There's actually teachers shortage, so the government is doing things to get these teachers. Whether you are treated well when you come is a question for another day. But yeah, they would always prioritize people who are in the country because it's just easier. But those people need to be on a visa that can allow them to work as well. But are they employing overseas teachers? Yes, they are. What I will tell you is you should be patient because it may take a while to get the job. It may take up to 6 months, up to a year. But there are also people that get it quite quickly. So you need to be patient and you need to be proactive as well. You don't just have to apply. You could reach out to the school. You just try all the methods that you know in looking for a job. But don't harass people. Don't look like you're harassing them, hassling them. But every method that you know that you can find jobs, try it. That's it. As a Nigerian, how do I get my qualification assessed in New Zealand for them to know the level of my qualification and experience will equate? IQA, NZQA. If you are coming for PhD, I've said training. I've just told you Delexty. It's called go to New Zealand Qualification Authority, NZQA. I should put the link in the description box. Those are the guys that do the qualification. It's not Immigration New Zealand. New Zealand Qualifications Authority. They are the ones that do your assessment. I'll put the link here so that you just go. I've put the link in the chat. Copy it and put in the website or just click on it. You're welcome. So NZQA are the ones that assess your qualification, that it matches. I did not do IQA. Let me just put it out there. I didn't do assessment, but it may be different for you. So yeah. Oh well. So I think I have managed to address many questions. Oh, the almighty one that everybody keeps asking is NZQA. Sorry, NZETA. Please, please and please, Edakun. If you are not on a visa waiver country, you cannot fly into New Zealand on an NZETA. Whether you are from a visa waiver country or not, you cannot work on an NZETA because NZETA is like saying Electronic Travel Authority. We have it for other countries. America, Canada, even UK has it now. That if you are from a visa waiver country, you can apply and then they'll give you 2 years. It's just a way of registering that this person is in my country. So if you're not from a visa waiver country, you cannot fly into New Zealand on NZETA. If you need to come to New Zealand, you are going to have to use ship. And there's no ship from Nigeria to New Zealand. So if you are now saying we die here, I have to do, you are wasting your time and money and effort. You may end up entering trouble because you have to now fly to a country. Someone was asking me, where can I find cruise ships? I don't know because I've not used a cruise ship before. But the best bet is to go online. Why are you spending all that money on NZETA? When all that money you are spending, you could save it in your account as proof of funds for your visitor visa, which is $441, as opposed to what you are going to waste money on, waste on flights to a country, waste on cruise ship, waste on agents. But if you had saved all that money and applied for visitor visa, all you just need is patience. Then you could have come as a visitor. But why are you anyway? Sure. But just know that NZETA, you cannot come to New Zealand, cannot fly into New Zealand. I just applied for my visa. Are they much? Yeah, they are Nigerians. If you need, I know if you Nigerians, they even have a WhatsApp group. So if you need that contact, let me know when you get it. They are Nigerians in Massey University. If I do get a visa, is there a way to link up with them before arriving? Hmm, people are always very skeptical about giving out their contact because they've seen a lot. There are some people that know how to misuse opportunities and privileges. So most people don't want to get in touch. And some people will think it's village people. Your fellow Nigerians. So there are some people that can help you, generic questions. And then there are some people that they don't want until you arrive and they see you face to face, then they can connect. So it's quite difficult because what then happens is once you give the contact, people stop using their brain and now depend on that person to feed them information. The person here is trying to do PhD or do masters, work and survive and still take care of their family if they have any, or just live a baby boy or baby girl life. They don't want stress. So what some people do is that they forget to think because you have connected them with somebody. So that's why some people don't want to. But when that time comes, I could ask a few people, and if they're happy, then I can give you the number. But these are the reasons why people don't give out their numbers. No, no, no. I wasn't saying that overseas teachers are not treated well. What I was saying is that um, some teachers complain that their salary is not enough, which I think is everywhere in the world anyway. Yeah. So that's just it. Not overseas teachers. If an overseas teacher is treated wrong, then you can actually complain. New Zealand has employment rights where if your employer is treating you badly, you can submit a complaint anonymously if you want to, and they will investigate. They call it migrant exploitation. So if your employer is exploiting you, take advantage of that. Thank you. No, while I did, yeah. Alrighty. So I have done 1 hour so far. It's been really nice. Thanks for coming with your questions. And I think I have addressed most of the pain points. That's places that people have issues. What I think the next one I'm going to talk about is for you when you arrive. Because when you arrive, there are other extra things that you have to do. You need to open bank accounts. You need to register IRD if you intend to work ever. You need to get a driver's license because some jobs want you to have driver's license. That's something I should mention. Not necessarily have a car, but just have a driver's license because that is like they recognized the most minimum government ID. They may not trust your passport. They may not want you to carry your passport around. But if you are registered, if you have a New Zealand driver's license, you are in New Zealand government database. So sometimes they want that because they don't want, if they ask for your passport, it's a whole process. But if they have your driver's license, it's quite easy. So some jobs require you to have a driver's license, but you don't necessarily need to have a car. Then you also will need to, you know, do grocery shopping. The lifestyle here is quite is if you've lived abroad before, it feels the same, but it's also different. So there's small differences that makes it unique, which I haven't really explored a lot on my channel. I have talked about a few, but I think we need to get really into it as well because some people come here and they struggle. They struggle a whole lot. And it's always not nice to see it. And that's because some of them don't really know how to go about certain things, especially when they come from places that have a totally different lifestyle from here. All right. Please, I just got my e-visa. Can I get work and possibility of a Senate? I don't know what you mean by e-visa. All of New Zealand visas are e-visa. So you have to be very specific. E-visa means electronic visa. It's just a format of visa. Before, even till now, but prior to immigration New Zealand going fully online, you needed to submit your visa application to a visa application center or the embassy. When they approve your visa, they will stamp the label, just like US is still doing. They'll put the label on visa. So that is label, visa label. And then you will see on your visa and passport, they put the label on your passport and you will see that this is my visa, hard copy in here. Now, they've gone fully online for most visas. That is what is called e-visa. So they no longer put the label on your passport, which means that they most likely will not need you to submit your passport. So you can apply for your visa without having to post your passport to them. Once they are satisfied, they will approve your visa and then they'll send you a PDF. They'll tell you your visa is approved. You go online and download the PDF. That is visa. That one is called e-visa. So that is, yeah. But if you have a visa, New Zealand has unique visa names. So when you say e-visa, you could be talking about anything. So please be specific. There's nothing like conference visa. Again, you have visitor visa, different types of work visa, different types of student visas. So yeah, I can't help you with that. What is the name of your visa is a question I'm going to ask you. How much total can somebody intending to come to New Zealand be looking at, including flight ticket? From any, it's any amount. Any amount. You need to have any amount, basically. I cannot tell you a total, but at the moment, I think flight ticket is like 3,500 New Zealand dollars. And then what are you coming to New Zealand for? Are you a student or are you a visitor? So I don't know. I don't know. It depends on what you're coming to New Zealand for. It could be from $1,000 if you're here to stay for 1 month. It could be $2,000, $5,000, $10,000. I don't know. Everything is very specific. So yeah, what are you coming to New Zealand for? How long are you staying in New Zealand for? What are, yeah, all those things will determine how much to bring. But flight ticket is about, I think currently it's like 3,500 New Zealand dollars. Except you want to go through Turkey, which is like 50 hours. I don't advise people to do that. So then you can pay 2.5 or 2.7 New Zealand dollars. Yeah. All right. That's it for this live. Thank you all for joining. Make sure if you still have questions, you can put in the discussion. Sorry, put it in the chat, and I'll respond to it later. If you have questions after this live as well, put it in the chat, and I'll respond to it afterwards. But I'd like to say thank you so much for coming, for joining me in this live. As always, remember to subscribe if you haven't, because a lot of you have actually not subscribed. You just come watch my content and go, which is nice. Thank you for watching, but please subscribe. I need the subscribers too. About 70% of you are not subscribed according to the analytics, and that really breaks my heart. Not nice. So click the subscribe button and like this video and share it. And if you have any question, put it in the chat. But by the end of this session is going to be comment. So put it in the comments. And yeah, I'm wishing you all the best. And if you ever come to New Zealand, send me an email, reach out to me on social media. Thanks for everyone that has joined. Thanks for your question. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys. Keep putting your questions in the chat, okay? All right. Toodles.